Well, welcome to your weekly UAS news update. And this week is going to be a one ticket item news. And it's here. It's here. The DJI Mavic Air 2 is here. So I'm going to be talking about this beast for this entire episode. I still have a lot of stuff that I want to do with it in the next couple of weeks, so you'll see more of this in the future, but I'm really excited I get to play with it. So before I get into this though, I do want to talk about something that the FAA just released yesterday. And yesterday they issued a special FAR, Special Federal Aviation Regulation. And if you haven't read, if you haven't heard, or if you haven't seen anything, please go ahead and watch this video right here that I'm going to link because you need to see this. If your Part 107 certificate is expiring, then you really need to watch this. But okay, let's go ahead and talk about the news. Let's get into it. All right, so the big ticket item this week obviously is the Mavic Air 2 that just came out from DJI. I talked about it last week. We talked about how this thing was going to have a 48 megapixel, blah, blah, blah. So now we have the specs and I want to talk about it. I went to fly it and it's actually pretty awesome. Quite frankly, first impression, this thing is really sweet. The one thing I want to talk about, I want to kind of take it step by step. First, I want to talk about this controller. And this controller has something new in here. We have USB-C, okay? If you are familiar with the older controllers that had the USB, actually the USB Mini, which I really, really don't like. This thing would break on the side. Now we have a USB-C, which is nice and beefy. And quite like actually this controller you can see right here. I'm going to show you more pictures in a second, but this thing is actually fits in the hand really well. It looks pretty big, but it's actually really comfortable to fly. Something that you can hold and you can actually, I like to pinch, so you can actually pinch the fingers really well on this thing. And the controller, the phone on top. Now this is an iPhone 8 Plus and it fits really well on here. There's actually more room, so a little bit more room. So if you had something a little bit bigger, then it would fit in here. The sticks right here actually come and fit right here at the bottom. So this is really nifty as well. It kind of makes it the whole thing really flat. And then you've got some buttons. So let's take a look at the buttons. We have buttons on the top left and buttons on the bottom, on the top right. We have a function button, which right now if you push actually lights up the bottom of the drone. You can configure that. And then we have a way to switch between camera and between the videos in here. So that's pretty cool. We also have a home button. We have a off and on button, which is very simple. And then right in the middle, you've got your normal tripod and sport mode, which is pretty cool as well. Only one wheel in the back. And then on the other side, we have our button to just push and take photos or start recording. So really basic, no antennas, by the way, no antennas in here. And this is really smooth out of the box. I'm surprised because I always have to go into the settings when I fly a DJI product to change the sensitivity, especially on the yaw. It's still pretty aggressive on the yaw, but not as aggressive as I think I've seen it before. So that's actually pretty cool. Was able to get some pretty cool cinematic shot actually straight out of the box and just turning on some settings in here. So again, pretty excited about the controller in itself. We have the app. Now the app is, if you've been flying the Mavic Pro and higher, then you don't know about this app. It's called the DJI Fly app. This is what's being used with the Mavic Mini. So if you have a Mavic Mini, it's going to be the same app. It's basically a Go4 app, but simplified. And quite frankly, I like it. I think it's a lot simpler, a lot cleaner on the display. Now, obviously, you don't have as many options on this thing as you have for an Inspire 2, for example, or even a Phantom 4 or even a Mavic Pro. So this works really well, having the app that's simplified with this thing. You can see a little image right here, and I'll go into more details in a minute of all the different functions that we have. But on the bottom left corner, you have your map that you can make bigger if you want. You've got your telemetry in here with your height and then a little bit of your height and your distance, your speeds and everything. And then on the bottom right corner, we've got our settings. So our settings for video, our settings for photos. I had it set up here in manual mode. That's what I like to do. So you can control your shutter, you can control your ISO. There's no f-stop. There's no controlling the aperture in this drone, unlike the Mavic 2 series. So if you're a photographer, I think you're going to be missing that part I did when I was flying. I wish I could control that. And then we have a little menu right here that we can click on and push on, and then we can get into our photos, all the different settings on the photos and the videos. And this is actually very intuitive, very easy to get into, whether you want your HDR photos, your HDR videos, and all of that. So, and then you have your hyperlapse at the bottom, and then your quick shot mode. Now we'll talk about these modes in a minute. I want to go into a little bit more detail. So again, kind of a very simple app right here that gives us a lot of really good information. And again, kind of like it. The drone in itself fits pretty much right between the Mavic 2 and the Mavic Mini. Now, I don't have the Mavic 1 Air, the Mavic Air 1, I should say. By the way, this is super confusing. Mavic 2 Pro, but Mavic Air 2, okay? I know why, there's a reason behind it, but anyway, I'm digressing here. Right between the size of the Mavic 2 and the Mavic Air, and tiny little lens right here. Obviously, you have a 1/2-inch sensor, so not as big of a lens as you're gonna have on the Mavic 2 series. The sensors, we have sensors in the back and we have sensors in the front, no sensors on the side. And this is advertised as a 34-minute flight time, which is pretty cool. You have on top right here, you have the battery. Now I just flew it, so it's got the 1.5 left, but that's one way that you can see how much is left on the battery. And then we have OcuSync 2.0, which is a 2.4 gigahertz, 5.8 gigahertz, and it keeps switching between the two automatically. And we have technically a 10-kilometer signal, 6-mile signal. Now, obviously, not something that we can use in most of the countries out there because you have to keep line of sight. So pretty useless if you ask me. Now, OcuSync, you may have a question. Is it better than the Mavic Air 1 was? I never flew the Mavic Air 1, but the Mavic Air 2, the signal was pretty clear. I noticed when I was panning that there was a bit of a lag in the image that was coming on the screen. Now, this could be because this is still a pre-production model rather than the final version, but I know from the Mavic 2 Pro, the image is a little bit smoother on the 2 Pro than it is on the Air. So again, this could change in the future. I'll keep you guys posted as I put it through the test a little bit more. Under the hood, we have a 1/2-inch sensor, so that's half the size of the Mavic 2 sensor, like the Pro at least, not the Zoom. And but you know what? I was looking at some of the footage that I did today, and it's actually pretty impressive. The footage is really sharp out of the sensor. I'm sure as I start testing it in low light condition, and this is going to change a little bit. Obviously, that's what the 1-inch sensor is going to bring us. In terms of video, we have 4K at 60 frames per second, and the surprising thing in here is 120 megabytes per second, which is really cool in terms of quality. The Mavic 2 Pro is at 100, which was also pretty good. The original Mavic was 60, and you could tell the difference between 60 and 100, and then from 100 to 120. Different sensors, so it's going to be a little bit of a difference, but I'm excited that they have this in here. This is a really good sign moving forward. If you have an HDR video mode in here as well. Did some testing. You can see the footage playing right here. That's going to be limited at 30 frames per second. There is no HDR at 60 frames per second. As a matter of fact, this is very much the same specs as what we see in the Osmo Action. So the DJI has this Osmo Action, which I actually use on a daily basis. It's a great camera, great action camera, and that's going to have pretty much the same specs. We have slow motion at 120 frames per second and 240 frames per second for at 1080. Not available at 4K, but still is really cool. I haven't tested that part just yet because I have an idea of how I want to test it. I'm going to put this thing through the test over the next couple weeks and then come up with a final bigger review. I wanted to spend some time. I hate just jumping in and giving you an idea of if this thing is good or not before I actually have a chance to fully test it. So we'll keep going with this and then I'll come back with a more in-depth review. In terms of the photos, we have several modes in here that you'll find. A regular 12 megapixel mode, and then you have a 48 megapixel photo. From first view, this looks really cool. Actually, the image looks pretty sharp in there. I'm going to show some of the footage. I might even put links down in the description if you want to download some of these photos so you can see. And then we have what's called a smart photo, and then we have a way to bracket from 3 images to 5 images. If you're not familiar with bracketing, one image is going to be exposed correctly, one underexposed, one overexposed, that's 3 bracketed, and then you have a way to do 5 of them, 2 underexposed, 1 slightly underexposed, 1 way underexposed, and then same on the opposite side of the spectrum. This will help you with creating some kind of an HDR photo if you're interested in doing that. We also have an option in here to do 8K hyperlapse, and 8K hyperlapse is going to be taking a picture every so many seconds. You can see here playing in the background, I have showing you kind of the interface and then kind of showing you how it's actually moving in the final product. Again, more testing coming up on that. I have some ideas of things that I want to do with it. And then we have our quick shots. The quick shots are going to be things that are automated. If you're not very agile with the controls, then you can do the quick shots. Personally, I don't use them, but I know that they're in there and they're pretty cool if you like using them. So I'll be putting those to the test as well, so you can see the different options and kind of how it works. So you're going to say first impression. Well, first impression is actually very positive. This is a $799 drone, which quite frankly, when you look at what the Mavic 2 Pro is doing, this is a serious competitor. Not for everyone. If you're a commercial pilot and if you're doing something for commercial purposes, probably not the drone for you. If you're somebody who likes having fun as a hobbyist and you want to take some pictures, or if you're a commercial pilot and you want a drone to do some recon, some reconnaissance of the area, and you want to go fly this thing, then this is probably a really good drone for very cheap, instead of buying something like a Mavic 2 Pro just to do some recon. Very responsive right out of the box. This thing was doing really well. Today was windy when I flew the first time, very windy, and this thing was just holding in place right here. You can see the footage, and did really, really well into the wind. Then I took that thing up to 400 feet where it was even windier, and it just stayed in place. So that's a really good, the wind was 25 miles an hour today actually. Footage is really sharp, very crisp out of the sensor as it is. Again, I'm going to be doing more testing, more comparison with the Mavic 2 Pro, and even with the Mavic Mini, so you can see the gap between all of these in the future. So, and also like the new app, it's simpler, but you know what? This is not a prosumer level. This is still something for hobbyists, I think, and it works really well with that new app. A lot simpler to use. The downside, it's a new lens, so you're going to have to get new filters. The filters are going to be a lot smaller. If you want to get that cinematic look, you're going to have to get ND filters, and it's a smaller sensor, so I would go on the lower side of the ND filters, just so you don't have to bump up the ISO too high. And again, a little lag on the controller from what I've seen, which is not horrible at the moment, and I'm not sure if this is final or not. So this is what I have for you really today. $799 for the price, $988 for the Fly More combo if you can find that. And I think it's going to be available in a couple weeks. So in the meantime, I'm going to put this thing through the test. I'm going to go run with it. I'm going to go use the follow, because that's a new mode that they have in here, follow 3.0. And then I'm going to be doing the A-Pass. The A-Pass is the obstacle avoidance system. So I'm going to be putting that through the test and giving you guys some footage, and then comparing it to the Mavic 2, because I know a lot of you have questions. So I'm going to give you as much footage as I can today in this video from what I did today, and then there will be more in the future. So if you're new to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe. There will be more videos on this. And then this is kind of an unusual news update. If you're not familiar with our channel, every Friday I have a news update, but this is kind of the big news this week. So the FAA is also the big news. So if you have a certificate that is expiring, please watch the other video that I did yesterday. And that's going to give you way more information on how to renew your exam, even in these lockdown conditions. So any questions you have about the drone, anything you want me to test, please go ahead, leave it down there. And then I'll get back to you either next week or the following week with something more in depth. All right, this is it. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week.